Now, beginning this news review program, tensions are running high in the occupied Palestinian territories after Israeli forces killed 2 Palestinians in the West Bank in separate incidents on Tuesday. Since the start of 2019, Israeli forces have killed 11 Palestinians in the West Bank and 16 others in the Gaza Strip. Now, we're now joined by our correspondent Ramallah, Mona Kandil, for an update on the situation in the occupied territories. Mona, over to you.
As you were saying, tensions running high in the occupied West Bank. On Tuesday, Israeli forces killed 2 Palestinians in separate incidents. The first one was Yasser Shweiki from the occupied West Bank city of Al Khalil, also known as Hebron. Yasser Shweiki works as an employee at the city's Islamic court, and he was in the old town of Al Khalil distributing official documents to people living there. However, this area is adjacent to the illegal buildings of the Jewish settlers, and when he arrived to the area, according to witnesses there, it seems that the settlers, not the soldiers, opened fire at Yasser Shweiki, and then the soldiers interfered to make sure that he was shot. The Israeli authorities tried to convince the international community that it was an attempt by a Palestinian to stab Israeli settlers. However, it's always one of the stories the Israeli forces continue to claim in order to give more impunity to the soldiers. In the evening hours, Israeli forces shot dead a Palestinian, Muhammad Shaheen, during a raid to the occupied West Bank city of Salfit. In the central of the West Bank, there were clashes between Palestinians and the Israeli soldiers. People were trying to prevent the Israeli forces from arresting Palestinians. And for our viewers, let's together watch more details in my report. Let's watch it together.
Okay, let's watch it.
After the Israeli forces have killed Tuesday 2 Palestinians in separate incidents in the occupied West Bank, the number of victims killed since the start of 2019 has mounted to 27. According to Palestinian human rights organizations, 11 Palestinians were killed in the West Bank and 16 were killed in Gaza Strip. These groups accuse Israeli forces of carrying out with impunity cold-blooded killings on mere suspicions, rather than opening fire to hinder and arrest those victims.
What the Israeli occupation forces carry out against our people amounts to war crimes. They kill our people in cold blood and carry out field executions. People are being murdered on mere suspicions. This requires urgent action. It's unacceptable to keep counting the numbers of our martyrs.
Palestinian activists, meanwhile, say the Israeli soldiers will even continue to be quick to pull the trigger, as they know they won't face inquiry by Tel Aviv's military system. They add Israel's military establishment has never held any of them to account for killing innocent Palestinians. The only thing would be detaining those soldiers for a few months at the maximum.
It's well-organized actions. It's a new wave of crimes against armless people. We can say that the soldiers have prior orders to kill Palestinians, even women and children, without a second thought, and they will receive impunity. And this is why we are not surprised that more crimes and inhumane acts would be carried out if the Israeli regime is not held responsible for its atrocities.
Ahead of Israel's general elections in April, escalating crackdown on Palestinians and the use of fatal force against them is part of Tel Aviv's shoot-to-kill policy and its measures to fight the Palestinian resistance. However, Palestinians say the crackdown is a failed attempt to intimidate them into giving up their struggle against the Israeli occupation. As the Israeli military tries to show, killing Palestinians has always been in case of defense. Palestinians say most of the victims were shot and killed on mere suspicions. They add these continued killings show that Tel Aviv doesn't seem to quit its shoot-to-kill policy. Mona Kandil for Press TV, occupied Ramallah.
All right, now let me thank our correspondent Mona Kandil for that report. And I say goodbye to her. And I'll also invite another person from Ramallah, Saad Nimr, who's a professor of political science with Birzeit University. Good to see you, sir. You heard about the support, and this is what has been going on for decades, Israeli soldiers killing Palestinians under different pretexts. And the funny thing is, and the U.S. Today, I wonder if you've heard the news, has said that we are not going to use the word occupied for West Bank, for Gaza, for Golan Heights. And this is what's the support that is being given to Israel for despite all the crimes that it's being committing.
Good evening to you and all the viewers. As a matter of fact, since the elections in the United States and Trump administration came out, apparently the Israeli had felt that now they have the immunity, a total immunity international wise, and they can do whatever they like and nobody can just stop them. And since Trump came around, we have witnessed such an escalation, a huge escalation, as a matter of fact, in all the Israeli atrocities, whether it's in the settlements, in the atrocities against the Palestinians, in the roadblocks, in confiscation of land, in demolishing of houses, and also in expelling Palestinians from their areas of living. All these atrocities, the Israeli felt that they are supported by the Americans and they are not going to be accounted for these kind of atrocities. And that's what's going on in the last few months, that the escalation is so high. Yesterday, when they were attacking the Al-Aqsa Mosque and closing the doors and attacking the prayers after the Maghrib and Al-Isha, prayers in the streets because the mosque was closed, it was absolutely, showing the Israeli atrocity in a very clear way, and their kind of attempts to suppress the Palestinians in any way. They feel it's because they feel that they own the land and they want us all out of this land, and that's what's going on apparently. We can just say that yesterday we felt the days apparently which was before the first and the second intifada. Right. People are up to their noses with the felt of desperation, and I think the build up is so high now among the Palestinians, and maybe we need another push or another accident by the Israeli to have an intifada erupted in the whole occupied territories.
All right. And Professor, are you hopeful that the international community could do something about this to hold Israel accountable for these crimes and violations? Because the UN, no matter how much they condemn other bodies, and Israel turns a deaf ear.
Yes, that's quite right, because so far there is lots of condemnation and lots of concern and lots of not feeling good about what's going on, but none of the actions were taken against Israel in order to suppress Israel of taking all these actions against the Palestinians. What is needed now, and especially now, that there is a meeting now for the European Union to review the relationship with Israel as far as the economic relation is concerned. We are demanding the European Union to stick to their own standard, that they're saying that our relationship economically with any country is in accordance to the views of their human rights records. And I think that the human rights of Israel concerning what's going on with the Palestinians is quite obvious. It's about time that the European Union should take some actions, and they have the right to do so. But apparently they are afraid to ruin their relationship with America. They are trying to make to keep the situation between them and the Americans going on in a will, even if that would be on the expense of the Palestinians. So the United Nations, even if they are taking some decisions or concerns, but it's not enough. What we need is a protection for the Palestinian people, a decision clearly for the protection, and action to be taken against the Israelis to feel that it's not all right to do all these atrocities.
Okay, we'll hope that will happen. Thank you for your comments and remarks. Saad Nim, Professor of Political Science with Perzai University, who joined us from Ramallah. And with this, we come to the end of this news review.